welcome back to another video with again your one and only Lerato. Well, if you are a returning viewer, then welcome back, girl. Welcome back, boy. Thank you for tuning in again to another video with me. If you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Lerato. I hope you will enjoy this video. Already you can hit the like button because I know you're gonna like it. Thank you. And you can also subscribe because, come on guys, I've been sitting on 90 something. Hey, we can at least go 2-3 digits, like at least, you know, levels to this thing. Share it with your people. If you find this video useful or impactful to you, then please share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep a good word to yourself. Yes, again, we're having a word. This video is actually to promote once again this new project or a thing that God placed on my heart to do, and I'm just inviting other people to do it with me, which is reading the Bible. We will read the whole of the New Testament within this year, and then next year will be a different plan. I don't know. I already know actually a little bit of what God wants me to do next year in terms of reading the Word, but you'll find out about that next year. Okay. For this year, we are reading the New Testament. That is the plan that I have, and I've already calculated how we will read it, but I won't tell you that right now because I mean then you won't want to find out every month. Okay, so this month every month we read a different book in the New Testament, and we read one chapter a day because many people, the excuse, especially for me as well, the reason why I didn't want to read my Bible, so well, yeah, as I was saying, the reason why many people, including myself, why I didn't want to really read the Bible was because I always said I don't have time, I have too many things to do, I have school, I have family, I have my own things to do, I don't have enough hours in the day for me to read the Bible. But then God was like, sis, you playing yourself because you have 24 hours and you can definitely do it. So then I was like, okay, well, bro, how? And he was like, just read one chapter a day. Well, okay, this whole thing was inspired by first God, and then I, coincidentally, Mpumi Ledwaba, if you know her, then you know her, then fantastic. If you don't, then please check her out. Mpumi Ledwaba started this thing also of reading a chapter a day, and then I was like, okay, God, I hear you. I see it. I hear you. Somebody's doing it. Then he was like, okay, then let me show you. Do it, join it, and see if you can do it, then start doing it. Then, and I don't know this girl, I don't know her that well, and she don't know me, but yeah, after going through that whole plan with her I think she did Romans for a month, yeah, and I joined on with that, and I realized I finished the whole book of Romans within a month because I read a chapter a day, and I was like, okay, God, I see what you're saying, I hear you, all right. And then he was like, okay, so you hear me, you see me, so do it. And that is why I am here. I already started it long ago, a little bit. I think I started immediately in Jan, yeah, because there was a video also that I uploaded of me talking in reference to, I think it was the book of Joshua. Yeah, I think I did Joshua, and that's when I was still doing it under her plan. She was doing the book of Joshua, that is. She was doing the book of Joshua, and I did it under her. And then after doing that, then that's when also God then said, okay, do the New Testament, the whole New Testament. Obviously, it didn't say I have to do the New Testament, but I felt stirred in my spirit and in my heart to do the whole New Testament, and I checked it out, and it is doable. It is possible to do the whole Testament within a year. And then I started the thing where I promote it all the time on my Instagram. If you don't follow me yet, please follow me. It's Lerato. It's just like that on Instagram. No, it's rudo.x, but my name is Lerato. rudo.x on Instagram. Follow me, and that's when you can always be updated. Every month I do a cute little advert of what book we're reading that month, and I invite people to join. And if you want to join, then please do so. There are already some people who are joining, quite a few actually that I didn't expect, who do this thing with me, and I'm so grateful. Thank you to those people who are doing it with me. It feels so good. You feel that you're not alone doing this thing, because we also talk to each other sometimes. We'll send each other feedback, or we'll just say, okay, I did it, or you're okay, what's next month. They also the people who are doing it with me are keeping me accountable. Like my friends who ask me, okay, what are we reading next month? And I'll be like, okay, cool, we're reading this. And it's so dope to know that I'm not reading the Bible alone. I never was reading the Bible alone, but it feels dope to know that there is a little bit, like, it's not a full community, but there's a few people who are doing this thing with me, and I'm really grateful for that, right? So yeah, right now this month we were, because it's almost the end of the month. Well, for you guys it's not almost the end, because today is like the 20, I think the 22nd. But in terms of us reading the book, it's almost the end of the month, because we're almost at the end of the book. But I wanted to do a little bit of reflecting on what I've read so far in the book. I'm not going to talk about a lot of things, because there's so many things in these books. So right now we're doing the book of Luke. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, we're doing the book of Luke in the New Testament. And today is obviously, so we do a chapter a day. So that means Luke 1, we do it on the first, Luke 2 on the second, and so forth. You understand? And this month, the book of Luke has 24 chapters. So we only, for the first 24 days of the month, we do it, and then we have a break. Most of the time it's like that, because it's just 24, then we have a break, and then the following month I'll bring up another book, and then we do it like that. But it won't stay like that the whole program. Just join in with me and follow my Instagram, and yeah, if you have my number on WhatsApp, just check out my statuses, because that's where I give updates of what we're doing at what time. And sometimes we will read 2 books in a month, because we'll have, like, there's certain books that have just 4 chapters, or 1 chapter, or 3 chapters, and it doesn't make sense for me to read just 1 and then be done, because no, I want to get through the whole thing, or God stirred it up in my heart to be able to get through the whole New Testament within this year. And not just to get through it, like read it just for the sake of saying I finished the first the New Testament, but for me to read it. And that's why it's just 1 chapter. It's just 1 chapter a day, because you really immerse yourself in the word, and you really try and dig deep into it. And you, well, this is what I would like people to do, or how I feel. This is working for me personally, that before I go into reading it, I talk to God and I say, God, please reveal things to me in your word. Please let me understand what it is that is in your word. Help me to apply it into my life. Help me to to just use it in its fullness, and help me to not miss out on anything, because I have FOMO on the word. Like, I want to take everything that was given to us. I want it all. I want to be able to benefit from all the nutrients that is within it. And that's why I ask God, like, okay, I want to go into this, and I want this. So, and you put it in my heart to do this, so please come through. And he like always actually comes through in terms of revelations through the word. There's so many beautiful things, like also in the book of Luke, guys. And okay, so we've read already Matthew, Mark, and now we're on Luke. And it's really, we repeating it's the Gospels. So it's sometimes, at first I thought, okay, God, this is kind of boring, because we're reading the same story again and again. But no, it's not boring. These different it's the same story, but from different storytellers, right? From different authors. Sorry, it's a bit annoying right now. So it's not this. Yeah. And so right now I'm gonna read just a little something from Luke 19, because it stood out to me, and I will, for example, read how God revealed the story to me, or how he unpacked it to me. So I have some notes in case you see me looking down, and the Bible, like the New Testament only, New Testament Bible only here, just for me to read from it. So if you see me looking down, then understand that's why. Okay, cool, let's dive into it. So I will read it. You can read it also with yourself if you want to. I would suggest you take a notebook or something if you're interested in taking notes. If not, then it's okay. Just listen. The video is always there, so you can always watch it back. Sorry, I was looking that side. Now I'm looking back at you guys. Okay, so it reads, it's the Jesus and Zacchaeus story. It starts, So chapter 19, Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short. Remember that. He was too short to see over the crowd. So He ran ahead and climbed. Okay, so he realized. Oh, let me read the whole thing before I go into it. So yeah, he was too short. Sorry, I need to look at this now. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today. Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner, they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord. And if I have cheated people on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much. Jesus responded, salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost. So that is the story from Luke chapter 19, verse 1 through to 9. That's the only part that I'm going to focus on. And yeah, and I want to, so that normally we just read and be like, okay, cool story. Yeah, we hear there's some things, but it's really such a like it's so deep. And this is what I got from it, or God was speaking to me, or revealed through this story to me. And it may be different for you, which is also okay, because bro, we're not the same and our experiences will never be the same. But I thought, let me share this thing because it really was so nice. And it's not the only thing, and it's not the biggest thing that I got from reading Luke so far, but it's something I just thought I want to share with you for anybody who needs to hear it. So yeah, here we go. So the first thing that came up to me was that, okay, Zacchaeus, the reason in the beginning, he wanted to go. So Jesus entered Jericho, making his way through the town. And okay, in this whole context, so Jesus is going through there and there's a lot of people. So most of the time when Jesus went places, there were always people who were like crowds. People were crowding him and wanting to touch him for healing, wanting to talk to him, wanting to encounter Jesus. People were just so eager for that, just like people are eager for that today. People were eager for that in that time. So like I'm trying to make you imagine what was happening in Luke 19 at that time. In my head, this is how I receive it. I wasn't there, so I don't know, and don't ask me. I wasn't there, but this is how I'm receiving it or interpreting it. So Jesus is going through the town and people are crowding him, and this man Zacchaeus, who is a sinner, he's a tax collector, and normally tax collectors in that time were seen as the sinners, because so Jesus was crowded by these people, and Zacchaeus was a sinful man, tax collector, bad guy, like how people maybe view the government nowadays. Maybe you can say that, because they were corrupt back in the days and stuff like that. And Zacchaeus was also corrupt as a tax collector. Or that's what we hear, because he later confesses to that if he ever did wrong, then he will give them 4 times more. So we know that he was corrupted. Anyway, we find out here, so Jesus is walking and there's a crowd around him, and Zacchaeus is a sinful man, not worthy of encountering Jesus, because he was not righteous, right? According to the Pharisees and the people of religious, like the religious people, like religious teachers back in the day. So he wants to go and he wants to encounter Jesus. Zacchaeus goes, I think it doesn't say anything, but for me, I will say, many people say he went to seek salvation from Jesus, like he wanted to be saved or he wanted something, but I think he just wanted an encounter with Jesus, whatever that encounter means. So he wanted an encounter with Jesus. That's why he went where Jesus was, like he knew probably Jesus gonna be here at around this time, so be there. And he went there. He was like, okay, I'm gonna be there. But then he realizes so many people, there's a crowd there, and he realizes he tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. So there was a crowd, and he realizes he was too short, right? Now let's go deep. So he was too short. Now he wants to encounter Jesus. So let's say now, being short is something Zacchaeus had no influence over. He couldn't change it because that's how he was born. That's how he is. Unfortunately, many of us are also like that. Me too, I'm also a short person, so I can relate to Zacchaeus' issue of you want to see something, but you can't see it. And it's not even your fault that you can't see it. It's just you were just born like that. Like you can't help it, you're short. And Zacchaeus couldn't help it, he was too short to see Jesus, or didn't have that. And you need to be kind of like close to him, I think, to get his attention, or that's what the people thought, or that's what Zacchaeus thought. Like, I need to be close to him, and unfortunately I'm so short, he can't even see me. Like, how am I going to get my encounter with Jesus if he can't even see me? I'm so short. And that shortness can be relative to today. Like, some people fall short, we all fall short, yeah, of being worthy. We fall short. We're too short in terms of being righteous, too short in being holy. We're not holy enough, we're not righteous enough, we're not perfect, and that's a fact. And that's something we cannot change. Just like Zacchaeus' issue, he could not change that. He was too short to see over the crowd. But did that stop him from still seeking? Did that kill the desire for Zacchaeus to want to have an encounter with Jesus? No, it didn't. And we read about that, and that is so beautiful. And that, for me, this is the whole point of me telling you this thing. What I got from it was that no matter what obstacles you may face in life, like even the ones that you cannot, especially the ones you cannot change, like that you cannot necessarily affect you, they don't let that be the reason why you give up on something that you want. Like, just because I come from a certain background, or because somebody else comes from a certain background, should never limit you to be and reach the things that you want, to encounter the blessings that you want to encounter, to encounter the life that you want to encounter, to experience that type of life. Don't let any obstacle that you couldn't influence, that you couldn't change, that is like that obstacle that is trying to stop you from reaching what you want to reach and what you desire so much. Don't let it stop you. Don't let that obstacle kill that fire. Don't let it kill that fire. Let it instead motivate you, and just like it did to Zacchaeus. Because, okay, watch. So Zacchaeus, he was too short to see over the crowd. So I love that, because so means something is about to happen. It goes, so he's too short to see over the crowd. So he realizes, Zacchaeus had to realize, okay, I'm too short. I can't reach Jesus, and I want this thing. I realize I have this obstacle that I cannot influence, but I'm going to do something because I want it. And I'm not going to let this obstacle block me. This is Zacchaeus' mentality. This is how I think of it. It's not what it says, but this is how I view it. So, you need to put a so in your life. Come on. You don't just put a full stop and then it's done. Like, ooh, I come from a poor background, full stop. No, you need to, after that full stop. So, you don't say, I grew up without 1, 2, 3, full stop. No, that's not the end. No. Just because you see a full stop, it doesn't mean it's the end. Because here in this passage, if you read it, there's a full stop. It doesn't mean it's the end. So comes. You need to also put a so in your life. The next sentence, not the next sentence. It doesn't end there. That's not the last thing about you. No. So, okay, let's go. So he ran ahead. Come on. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. So Zacchaeus had to, what I wrote down, let me read what I wrote so that you can receive it the way that I received it. So Zacchaeus was strategic, and he planned for his encounter or his healing or his salvation with Jesus. He realized a problem, right? He realized there was a problem. He saw that I'm too short to do this thing. So first thing to everything, like even the in medical practices, the first thing is to be aware. Awareness is the first step to cure. That's what many people say. When you're aware of it and you can acknowledge it, then you're one step closer to reaching whatever goal it is that you have in mind. So you need to see, if you have an obstacle, you need to acknowledge that obstacle and say, okay, I see your obstacle. This is my obstacle. This is the problem. You need to point out the problem and see it. Like, face it, acknowledge it, be aware of it. Whatever obstacle it is that is trying to get in the way of your encounter with Jesus, or your encounter with blessings in your life, or your encounter with the purpose that you believe God has given to you, or laid or spoken over your life. So he realized the problem, right, that he couldn't influence. And it's okay to have problems that you can't influence, but acknowledge them. It's very important to acknowledge it, that it was his height. And he looked, number 2. So the first thing he did was he was aware. So we need to be aware of the obstacles. Point them out to being the obstacles that they are. Then he looked for a way somehow to get to Jesus, to get his attention. And this is how, I got this thing from, they say here in Luke 19 verse 4. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass there. So he realized, okay, he looked around. He had to look around and find a way. So you need to, when you realize your obstacle, don't just sit and accept that obstacle. No, don't accept it. Look around and see, is there any other way? Is there an alternative? Look for an alternative of how you can get to the things you want to get to. So like Zacchaeus did, he looked around, he looked, and then he saw. When you look for something, when you seek something, you will find it. It says it also in the Bible, and I believe that also in general. If it didn't say it in the Bible, I also believe it. If I look for something, I'm gonna find it. It's something that my mom always said at some point, and she said my grand used to say it a lot, and it's true. Like in Shangan, it means you will find what you look for. That's what they told me. If it's wrong, don't come at me. But I believe her because I'm my mama. He looked for a way to somehow get to Jesus. He looked and he saw that sycamore tree, and he realized, okay, and he did that calculation. He was strategic. He planned. He saw the sycamore tree, and he didn't just leave it at that. You don't just seek something, find it, see it, acknowledge it, and then leave it like that. No, you need to do something about the things that you see, right? The things that you've looked for. So he saw the sycamore fig tree. Then he checked the distance. Okay, clearly, if he's going like this, then that means Jesus is going to also pass the sycamore tree. Okay, plan. Let me run there, because if I don't run, then I just might miss him. That's so good. If you don't run, if you don't leave now, when you realize, if you don't go for the things that you want now and the things that you believe and the things God has set out for your life, if you don't run for it, you might just miss it. It might just miss you, and you don't want that. That's so sad. If you were just close, you were almost there. You had the plan, you had the ideas, you had the plan. You knew how to get to it, but because you walked, or because you crawled, or because you were just moving slowly, just out of discouragement, it missed you, or you missed that opportunity, your window. Don't miss your window. So run, like Zacchaeus did. He ran. As soon as you see and you have a plan, you've acknowledged the obstacle, and you see. So don't miss your window. Run, like Zacchaeus did. Run for your things and you believe God. Run for your encounter with Jesus. Run for it. Don't be missed by it. This is the perfect time. Us in lockdown is a perfect time for you to seek him. Seek alternatives if you feel there's obstacles, there's things that are stopping you from getting to know Jesus more.
Okay, so I know it's an awkward ending to the video, but the rest of this footage got lost. But I still hope that you still enjoyed it and you got something from it. If you still want to know more on the story, then you can read Luke 19 verse 1 to 9 for yourself. Thank you.